Hey, what's going on, guys? So I just wanted to go over some headlines that have been all over the internet yesterday, and I just want to go over like how just foolish media has become. I don't know why they can't just give honest results. Everything has to be. I shouldn't say everything, but so many things is just about clickbait headlines, right? So I'm going to show you some headlines, and this is all in regards to the same study. So big studies give mixed news on fish oil and vitamin D from the same freaking website. Fish oil drugs protect heart health. Two studies say, sorry to move that. Then this website, vitamin D and fish oils are ineffective for preventing cancer and heart disease. So it's bad, it's good, it's bad. And this one, oh, it's good. Eating more fish or taking omega-3 fish oil can cut heart attack risk, studies find. Or new research shows fish oil and vitamin D may not be worth it. So it's like, how can you get such complete opposite headlines from the same study? So we look at the study, and this is, we can really get deep into this because this is, I don't know if they're using relative or absolute, but it doesn't really, it's still, we're going to get to the point of this. So here they gave people over 5.3 years fish oil and vitamin D. So either got fish oil or vitamin D or both or neither. And this is always a good one. Generally healthy men and women. So how do you define generally healthy? None of them are going to be healthy by my standards. I can almost guarantee all of them are on some sort of, or almost all are on some sort of or multiple medications. But it's men 50 and over, and then women 55 and older. And the study lasted on average 5.3 years. So first looking at vitamin D. So they show, but supplemental vitamin D did not reduce the occurrence of breast, prostate, or colorectal cancers. All right, it's bad. Right? Just like that. Some headlines can say it's bad, vitamin D is useless. Anyone who recommends vitamin D, like myself, is a quack. But then it says, however, there was a 70% reduction in cancer deaths, which became a 25% reduction in cancer deaths if they subtracted the first 2-year follow-up. So a couple things. One, not dying is a good thing. And two, cancer. So this is a huge mistake. They pick one endpoint. Vitamin D does many, many things for your body. It's good for your bones. It's good for your immune system. It's good for so many things. It's an essential hormone. It's a required nutrient. Like, you need it to survive. If you don't get any vitamin D, you die. Okay, it's as simple as that. You have to get it or you die. So to pick one endpoint, cancer, and then do a study, and if it doesn't show great results, say, oh, see, vitamin D is completely useless for everything. Anyone who takes it's a quack, is insane. But I showed a 25% reduction, and that was only 5 years. Like, cancer is a very slow developing disease. Like, what if they did a study where they had people who were sufficient in vitamin D for 30, 40, 50 years compared to people who were low in vitamin D for that amount of time, right? It could be huge outcomes, huge. And the other thing with this study is they only gave 2,000 IUs per. I take 5,000. I take an average about 7,500 IUs per day, because I get my vitamin D tested, and that's the level I need to take to be in a healthy range, right? 2,000 IUs a day wouldn't be enough for me. And the other problem with this, and with any nutrient, is so you have men and women 50 and 55 or older all getting 2,000 IUs. People are different sizes. Why would a 200-pound man like me get the same dose as a 115-pound woman like my wife? That doesn't make any sense at all. It would be like it's just common sense, right? Why would a big man get the same amount of protein as a tiny woman? You know what I mean? That's like, if you did a study with that, it just doesn't make sense, right? So, but even with stuff, so this is how you can get two different headlines. If I just focus on this, vitamin D useless. If I just focus on this, vitamin D great. But overall, the whole statement doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But then here's really interesting. Although vitamin D, yada, yada, African Americans assigned the vitamin D did experience a 23% reduction in cancer risk. So it's like, geez, let me look at these headlines. Well, cancer is useless unless you're black, right? Well, why would that be? And here's my theory on that. The darker your skin is, the more sunlight you need to absorb and produce the same amount of vitamin D. So would it be possible that if you have dark skin in Wisconsin, on average, you have less vitamin D than a person with fair skin? I would say yes. So that also makes sense that if you have really low vitamin D and you start taking some vitamin D to bring your levels up, you're going to see a larger increase in benefit. If you already have sufficient amounts of vitamin D because you get lots of sun and you take a vitamin D supplement, you're not going to see any benefit. It's just common sense. You don't need to study it for something so simple. On average, though, if you went and just took a random sampling of people like here in Wisconsin and checked their vitamin D, the overwhelming majority of people are going to be too low. There's a nurse, a little town in Iowa, the little clinic, they tested everyone in the clinic. Out of 140 people, 138 were low in vitamin D. And that's just my personal experience with numbers. It wasn't like an official study, but it just goes to show you how low people are. And then it's in here somewhere. The side effects, there's like none, right? There was few side effects, no significant increase in hypercalcemia, kidney stones, and any problems. Taking vitamin D is so safe. I think personally it's crazy not to do it. I recommend 5,000 to 10,000 IUs a day for adults, and it just kind of depends on your body. A good baseline is 35 IUs per pound of body weight per day. Okay, that's a good one to go with. So let's go on to the omega-3 fats, the fish oil. And we could talk about this for a long time. I'm going to try and make it brief and get to the point. But so in this trial, people were given fish oil, but it wasn't truly fish oil. So what they do, and this is what drug companies do. So fish oil in nature, it's in a molecule, it's a triglyceride form. So it's in a molecule nature, and you have your EPA and DHA and DPA and all these different omega-3s in the triglyceride form to create fish if you're to eat a fish fat, if you're to eat a piece of fish. So what drug companies do is they isolate pieces of that. So they isolate the EPA and DHA, disregard the rest, and then they have to change the molecular structure because you can't put a patent on and call something a medication if it exists in nature. So when it comes to any nutrient, the way it exists in nature is perfect. Always. Think about it. Would you rather have a nutrient in the form humans have been eating it for hundreds of thousands of years, right? That's how our bodies are gene coded. That's how we have been eating it for hundreds of thousands of years. Or would you rather they have a biochemically altered oil that's been around for a few years, right? I always go with the form exists in nature. But anyhow, so they take this, the drug companies, they isolate a part of it, and then they change it because they can patent it, and then they can charge $300 a month for it. I'll get to that. You'll see it's insane what they do. So it's already low quality fish oil for sure. And they give this to people, okay? So, and then they go off, cardiovascular disease, yada, yada, yada. Reduction was not significant. So headline, fish oil is useless. It didn't reduce cardiovascular disease. So headline, fish oil is useless. Nobody should take fish oil. Same thing as before. You measure one endpoint and claim it to be useless for everything, which is insane because fish oil, omega-3 fats, are an essential nutrient. It's a part of every single freaking cell function in your body, right? To measure one endpoint and then say it's useless for everything it's ridiculous. But that's what they do. But even after that, you go on, upon closer examination, the result was they had a reduction in heart attacks. Specifically, omega-3 fat people lowered the risk of heart attacks by 28%, and the risk of dying, the important part, from heart attacks by 50%. So it's like, but it had no effect or benefit for stroke or cardiovascular deaths not related to heart disease. So which sentence should we pick? Say, heart attack, 50% reduction, headline, fish oil is amazing, take it. No effect on stroke, fish oil is useless, don't take it, right? It's like, that's what these headlines do. It's so frustrating. Additionally, taking omega-3 fatty acids reduced the rate of angioplasty procedures by 22%. It's like, holy shit, that's pretty good. And that's with poor quality ethyl ester, non-naturally occurring fish oil from a drug company for crazy amounts of money. Like if you take the naturally occurring stuff, you would get even better benefits. But again, the way this works, and they'll show it too. It's in here. I want to get to it. I just want to talk about it. So what they found, okay, in participants with low fish consumption, omega-3 fatty acid had a 19% reduction in cardiovascular events, including a 40% reduction in heart attacks. Well, again, that makes sense. If you're not eating very much fish, your omega-3 fat levels are lower. So adding omega-3 fat supplements, you're going to get more benefit. If you're already eating a whole bunch of fish, adding little supplements on top of it isn't going to show you a whole lot of benefit, okay? But here's the problem with eating a whole bunch of fish. So this is Wisconsin. Women of childbearing years, nursing mothers, are supposed to eat little fish at most once per week and big fish once per month. There's no way you can get adequate amounts by eating fish because you're poisoning yourself with mercury and PCBs, which on a side note, this is crazy. Don't eat much fish because there's mercury in it when you're pregnant, but go get a flu shot that has no evidence to support getting a flu shot when you're pregnant with that, and the shot has mercury in it. That really, really bothers me. in a lot of ways. But kids, right? Kids aren't supposed to be eating this stuff because of mercury poisoning. So how are they supposed to get adequate amounts of omega-3 fats? You can have a good fish oil product where they take the fish oil and purify it of the mercury and PCBs, put it back into the bottle, and then take it that way. So a good fish oil is literally like getting fish before man came and polluted everything. That's really what it boils down to. Let's go back to this study. So that's a pretty good reduction. Clinical perspective, yada, yada, yada. Among African-American people, again, let's not worry about, them too much in any headlines, but omega-3 fatty acid supplementation led to a 77% reduction in heart attacks. That's pretty amazing, right? It's a pretty good thing to do. On and on and on. So you can see how it's so easy to just create clickbait headlines. And then all these numbers, I don't know if they're relative or absolute. I didn't dig in that far. I don't really have to. Because in the end, everything that happens, like all this stuff, it all comes back to the same thing. You want your nutrients in the whole food form. And if you can't get enough from your diet, you want to take a supplement of a whole food form nutrient to get to a sufficient level. It's that simple. I have to go back though. So in this study, or this headline, big studies give mixed news on fish oil. So what they do is they say, well, fish oil supplements don't do any good, but this fish oil medication is good. So you compare the two studies. In the fish oil studies, even though the fish oil did show some benefit, which I showed you, people got 1 gram of the synthetic fish oil, and they got 1 gram of olive oil, which is a healthy oil, as the placebo. So you're getting 2 healthy oils, right, which could show not as good results for the fish oil. Now for this medication, these guys, they gave 4 grams of the fish oil instead of 1, a lot more, a bigger dose. And then for the placebo, they gave mineral oil, which is made from petroleum, which could cause negative effects because most of the people in these studies were on Lipitor and blood pressure drugs and things like that, the healthy people. So, but anyhow, by doing that, it makes this medication look better. And what this medication is they take 1 omega-3 fat from fish oil, they pull out the EPA, right? They biochemically alter it to make it an ethyl ester, so it's in a form that doesn't exist in nature. It's a less absorbable form, but it can be sold as a medication then. And then the cost is $311 for 120 1-gram capsules that insurance pays for, which is why our insurance premiums are so high, which is why so much of what drug companies do is just criminal. It's like my fish oil, right? It's 1.5 grams per serving. You get EPA, DHA, DPA, all omega-3s, everything. So you get over 50% per serving. You get all of the different types of omega-3s. It's in the natural form. It's everything, yada, yada. 100 servings, right, is about $45. So a fraction of the price, it's not even close. Just a tiny fraction of the price for a much higher, better product. And when you compare it to Lovaza, which is EPA like the other one, plus DHA, both synthetic, both ethyl esters. This one's also about $300 a month. Far superior, far less money, or the capsules. It's not even close as far as quality of the product goes. But if you can put a patent on it and sell it as a drug, you charge so much more money. All right. So my advice is, you know what I mean? It's like, well, who the hell do you trust? Like, why would you trust me? Like, who is this guy? I mean, here's my marketing budget. Me reading and educating people so they don't waste their money. That's my marketing budget. That's how I keep things low. And I actually go through and understand this stuff. So my philosophy is very simple. You could probably, maybe hear my baby just starting to cry in the room. She probably tipped over, so I have to go get her. But this is the stuff I give my kids. I would never get a prescription and give this to my kids. And I would also not feed my kids fish from the Mississippi River. I mean, it's just too polluted. It doesn't make any sense to me. Here's what I do. I give my kids a really quality fish oil and a high quality vitamin D, because without it, they're deficient in those healthy nutrients and they're not as healthy as they could be. It's really that simple. It's inexpensive and it's wise. So hopefully this helps you learn how headlines can be so deceiving. Freaking media, man. Why couldn't they just I don't know, it's crazy. But hope that helps somebody out there. Thank you much. And share this, man. More people need to know this stuff. This is important stuff. It's huge for our families and our kids. It's so important that we understand you want to get all your nutrients from whole food. And if you can't get enough of something from whole food, make sure it's a naturally occurring whole food supplement that has been purified of any possible pollutants, toxins, PCBs, mercury, that sort of thing. So share this, and thank you for your time.